So this morning we're continuing our series from Matthew 5, which is all about, we're talking about how to follow Jesus. And so last week we talked about the Beatitudes, okay, and how to be blessed, right? So this week we're going to the next section of Scripture, which is to be light, okay? And it talks about being light and salt in the earth. So to begin this, I want to tell you about this very rare species of bird, okay? Now, I learned about this bird when I was in high school, okay? I was a senior in high school, which, in case any of you want to feel old, that was 9 years ago. I love being a young pastor, I can tell you But when I was in high school, especially when I was working, I was a youth volunteer at a youth outreach called The Shed. We were open every Friday night, 9 to midnight, and it was an old, it was a local park. It had been our old workshop, and they weren't using it anymore, and so we had pool table and ping pong and TVs and bands were coming and playing, all kinds of fun stuff. It was a great youth outreach. However, I was on the youth board, okay, so every Friday night I was in The Shed. And so, on Friday nights, usually what we would do is if there were any new people, there was sort of this typical initiation, okay? The initiation was we would take them out back into the empty field and we would take them snipe hunting. Now, you guys laugh, so it's going to be less funny now because I was going to try and get you. But, okay, so, the whole point of snipe hunting is to make people who are gullible look ridiculous, okay? Because it doesn't actually exist, okay? You can't go snipe hunting. Okay, now, but here's the great part. There is a bird called the snipe, so when they Google it, they're like, that's not real. They Google it, it's on there, okay? So what you would do is you take them out into the back of the field, and it's pitch black dark out there, and you would tell them that they have to do all these ridiculous things to get the birds to come out, okay? So you tell them they would have to clap or click their tongues or yell or whatever it was. But eventually it led to you having to get a flashlight out, okay? Because you'd have to get your flashlight out and you have to do figure 8 patterns, right? You have to get your light out, right? So this was one of the greatest games, okay? This is one of the greatest games. We got so many people on this. But the reason I point that out is because one of the things that we always tell them is that snipes are attracted to light. Okay, there's something about light that attracts it. And as we all know, if you've ever gone camping, okay, you turn a light on and you're outside, the bugs just come like crazy, right? Okay, so there's something attractive about light, okay? There's something actually attractive, not make-believe like the snipe, okay? But there's something about light that just attracts things. And I think that what it boils down to is most of us don't really like the dark. We're kind of afraid of the dark, okay? Most of us, we grow up as children being afraid of the dark, okay? We're afraid of the things that might be out there, and it's this fear of the unknown that really takes us over. But Jesus, when he's talking today, he says that we ought to be the light. That when the world is dark, we have to be the light. But first, he says we need to be salt. Okay, now, this one to me was a little bit weird. Okay, now in our household, if you don't know this yet, my wife loves salt. Okay, she puts salt, like piles it on everything. Okay, loves salt. Okay, but here's the thing. Salt has lots of different purposes. Okay, there's lots of different things that salt does. Okay, one of the things that salt does is enhance the flavor. Okay, it enhances what's already there. It's not that it adds something different. It's making what's already there better. And so for me, when Jesus says we ought to be the salt of the earth, it means that we ought to be the ones, if there's anybody on this planet who is going to lift up our neighbors and enhance what they have and make their gifts shine, it ought to be us. Okay, we ought to be the ones to enhance not just the earth, but enhance each other, to enhance our neighbors. And it's not that we're adding anything to them. It's just that we are drawing out what's already there. That sometimes it's hard for them to see. Because if we're honest, sometimes it's hard for us to see what's good in us. We look at our life and say, well, what do I have? What do I have to offer here? And so it's even worse if you don't know Jesus. Because for us, we have this God who lives in us, and we know God has a purpose, that there's some reason that we're here, and that there's a purpose behind our gifts. But if we don't know Jesus, and we don't know that there's a purpose, we don't know that God has something, somebody's going to have to draw that out of us. And that's our job. Our job is to draw out the flavor in the world, the flavor in others. because everybody is so different and unique, and they have all these great talents. One of the things we ought to be doing is striving to bring out the best in other people. And I have a great example of this because yesterday, as I told you, a few of us went to the Back to Basics seminar that our district put on. And so there was all kinds of great speaking, but my favorite was Jeff Newton. And Jeff is the pastor at Kokomo. And here's the crazy part. Jeff is at a 5-point charge. And he's part-time. Okay, so here's how this works. Jeff has this great program where he takes young people who are interested in ministry, but not quite sure if they want to devote all of their college life to it. He takes them and he essentially gives them each a church, and he oversees them. And they're all these small churches, like 30 or less in attendance. And so he takes them and he plants them in these churches. But one of my favorite stories he shared was about this church that had a whole bunch of older ladies who could sew. Okay, that's what they knew how to do, was to sew. So they decided to just open up this class, and they're going to teach people in their community how to sew. So he said the very first class, they had this woman show up who was very tall African-American girl, very slender, and she shows up, and so they're supposed to make a pillow on the first day, okay? Just a simple, I made pillows in 8th grade sewing classes, okay? You sew them and you turn them inside out, right? Here's the thing, on her first day, she made a cushion, like with zippers and everything, okay? So she was apparently pretty good. And so they asked her, they said, well, what are you interested in? What draws your interest? And she says, I love to draw. And so they said, well, that's great. Come show us your drawing. So she brought in her drawing pad, and page after page were wedding dresses. She had been designing these wedding dresses. And so they said, well, do you want to make one of these? She said, sure. So they got all the necessary equipment, and this girl sewed and created from scratch her own wedding dress that she designed. And then she sold it for $600. And then, if it gets any better, okay, so this church is bringing these people in training. Here's the great part. Jeff said that woman now lives in Florida. She makes so much money making wedding dresses, she only has to design 5 or 6 a year. All because somebody in some church decided to be salty. Okay? Somebody decided to enhance and pour into what was already there. We weren't adding anything. It was just drawing out this love for drawing, this love for design that was already in this girl. Okay, so that to me, that's what being salty is all about. It's drawing out that flavor. But salt also has a couple of other purposes. First off, use it as a preservative. Okay, we use it as a preservative. Now, to me, what that means is it's up to us to save the world, which sounds like a big task. But here's the thing: it doesn't say that we're going to do it on our own. It says that we're using the salt that we've already been given. So it's almost like we're continually being refilled by Jesus, by the Holy Spirit. And so our job is to preserve the goodness. Okay, last week we talked about the hunger and thirst for righteousness. We're supposed to preserve what is good and right and holy in the world. That's our job. Our job is to stand up for what is good. It means we need to be involved in our world. A lot of times as Christians we think, well, I need to withdraw from all that. I need to stay away from everything. But the thing about it is, at some point we have to be involved in our world. Because it's our job to make sure that what is good and right is being done. But there's one more thing that salt does. Now, when I was a kid, my grandpa, he died in his mid-50s from lung cancer. But when I was a kid, I remember going to Grandpa's house. There was one thing Grandpa always had, and that was pretzels. Okay, my grandpa loved pretzels. Okay, but here's the thing. The salt on those pretzels would make you so dang thirsty. Okay, you just had to chug water for hours. Okay, that salt, man, it just created this thirst. And so, to me, that is the most important thing that we as Christians do in our lives. We live a life that is so incredible, that is so filled with the Holy Spirit, that other people are thirsty for what we have. That when they look at our lives, they say, how do I get some of that? How do I get that? And that's what we can say, well, let me tell you about Jesus. Let me tell you why I live my life the way I do. Let me tell you why these incredible things are happening. That's one of my favorite things about coming back from Africa, because we go and we see all these miracles, and I come back and I'm telling all these people stuff, and they're like, well, that can't be right? That can't be real. I saw it. I've seen it. And that's something we're going to talk about later in our evangelism class, our testimony. Telling people what we've seen and experienced, that's what creates that thirst. That's what creates that idea in other people's minds that says, how do I get some of that? How do I live a life that even when it seems like everything's a mess, you seem to be fine? How do I get that? And it's that thirst. Salt creates that thirst. And I think that is one of our things. And so I think, my theory here is this. Maybe the reason that we think other people don't want Christ is because we haven't given them a reason to want Christ. We haven't shown them anything that makes them thirsty and hungry for something that is more fulfilling than what they've had already. Maybe we've just done a terrible job of being salt. But there is light. Okay? Pun intended. Because the next thing he says is that you are the light of the world. I want you to notice here, because we seem to listen to it. He doesn't say that I'm the light of the world, being Jesus. He doesn't say, me, Jesus, I'm the light of the world. He says, you. You are the light of the world. Now, our light comes from Jesus. Okay? So he says, you. You are here. You are here right now to be the light of the world. To shine light into the darkness. You. Sometimes I question Jesus' decisions. Because let's be honest, if he had stuck around instead, the world would look a lot different. But instead, he entrusted it to us. Okay, so what I think of this morning, when I think of this light being inside of us, I think immediately of our lighting of the candles in the morning. Okay, because what do? We bring the light in, right? And so, in my mind, Jesus brings the light in and he places it in us. And he entrusts us with this light. But then guess what? At the end of service, what do we do with the light? We take it out, right? So the thing is, we're very good at bringing the light in. We're very good at receiving the light. We're very good at letting Jesus fill us up. It's the taking it back out into the world part that we're not very good at. Because the thing about it is, there's a great quote. I think it's from Eleanor Roosevelt. But I don't remember the exact quote. But essentially, this quote it says, don't complain about the darkness, be the light. We can complain about it being dark, but if we're not being the light, what are we complaining about? And so he says, you are the light of the world. And then he says, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. Now when I read this verse, the first thing I thought of was Cincinnati. Okay, because I did ministry school, master's commission, in Hamilton, Ohio, which is on the north edge of Cincinnati. So we did a lot of ministry work in Kentucky. Okay, and so you take the interstate down into Kentucky. Well, on your way back on I-71, you come up at one point, you kind of come over this hill, you come up over the hill, and you just see the entire city laid out in front of you. And so there's just, and so when you come through at night, and when the city is just lit up, there's nothing else like it. And it was almost, I was there for 2 years, so it kind of became like a home feeling. So every time you would crest over that hill, and we saw Cincinnati sprawled out, it was just like we're home. There was just that feeling. And so that's what I thought of when I read this verse. It says, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. Okay, when you pop up over that hill on I-71 and you see Cincinnati, there's no missing it. It's not a blinking, you'll miss it. It's there. But the other thing is, we don't ever try to hide the city. Okay? Now, I will say we did at one point, okay? During the world wars, we tried very hard to hide all the important stuff. Okay, and so we would devise these big camouflage things we put over the factories and then the important places that we didn't want them to see. And of course, if you remember the rolling blackouts and things like that would happen. So we tried really hard. But the thing about it is, you can't hide something that's that big. You can't hide something so magnificent. You can't hide it. And yet, that's exactly what we try to do. We have this great, magnificent light inside of us, this Jesus who gives us new life every day, who renews us, and yet we try so hard to hide it. And so Jesus, in this scripture, even says, he says, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. He says, nobody in their right mind lights the lamp and then covers it. Because guess what? That defeats the purpose of having a lamp. It no longer serves the purpose. Because a lamp is meant to bring light into the darkness. So he says you don't light a light, put a bowl over it. And yet that's what we do. Jesus lights this fire in us, and then we say, well, wait. That's mine. And yet, what we don't think about is, you light a candle, your fire doesn't go away. Now you're both on fire. And so he says, instead they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. And in the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. He says, when you light a lamp, when you turn the light on, you're trying to chase out darkness. There's a purpose in this. So he says you put it on its stand, you get it as high as you can possibly get it, so that it gives light to as much as it possibly can. Do you ever wonder why in your house, when the contractors are building your house, why they put the light right in the middle on the ceiling? Because guess what? That's where it's going to reach the most. That's where it's going to get the most impact on that room. And yet, what most of us like to do is we like to pretend like we're one of those little nightstand lamps that you set in the corner that you turn on at night. And I have to do this because I wake up way earlier than Erin does. So I have this little lamp that I turn on because I know it won't wake her up if I turn that lamp on. Okay, that's how most of us do it. We treat the world like it's, well, we got to be careful. I'm going to turn my light on in my little corner. And as long as I've got light to see, that's all that matters. And yet Jesus says, you are the light of the world. The light of the world. The whole place. And so, what we have to ask this morning is, are we being salt and light? Are we being people who bring light into the darkness? Because let me give you a little heads up here, in case you don't watch the news. The world is a dark place. Okay? By no means can we say that the world is a happy-go-lucky, woohoo kind of place. Okay? The world is a dark place. There's all kinds of evil stuff going on out there. The thing about it is, there's all kinds of good stuff too. There's all kinds of light that is being shined into every corner. Okay, when I went to Africa last year, actually, this story was from 3 or 4 years ago, the second year we went. We went to this village. Okay, now on the way to this village, I call it a village, it was really like a town. And so it was a pretty decent sized town. On the way to this town, we drove probably 3 hours to get to this town. And we passed, I would say, at least a dozen mosques on the way in. Okay, when we get to this town, and right in the center of town, there's one church. One church. And so it is downpour raining. We are drenched. And we're in this church and we're teaching all these people. There's probably 200 people gathered in this church. And so we're teaching these people how to go do evangelism and how to share their faith. And then when we get done, their pastor of their church comes up, and without any prompting, we had no idea this was happening. He comes up and he says, all right, we've learned how to do evangelism, now we're going to go do it. So, in the downpour rain, he sends us out door to door in this community to go tell people about Jesus. Because guess what? He had got a light lit inside of him and he could not wait. He's like, I got this, we need to go. We cannot hold back here. And what I think of is this worship song that it says, light a fire in my soul. Okay, light a fire in my soul. But here's the thing, he says, it should be an uncontrollable, unquenchable fire. Most of us, when we feel like we're lit on fire for Christ, we talk about being on fire for Christ, right? But most of us think about it now like these little candles, okay? Where there's a little light and, like the old nursery home. The old nursery that we learned when we were kids, remember? This little light of mine, okay? But instead, the Spirit, when the Spirit comes in the book of Acts on Pentecost, when the Holy Spirit comes, guess what? It wasn't some little bitty flame that was just hanging out. Okay, it says there were flames above people's heads, which is kind of weird. Okay, let's be honest. But here's the thing, when they described it, it said that the Holy Spirit was like a rushing wind filled the house. And when he uses the word like, it means that there was nothing exactly like what happened. He says it was like a rushing wind. It wasn't quite exactly, but it was like that. And so it was this big movement of these flames everywhere. It was crazy. It was like a wildfire. And that's the image of when the Spirit of God comes. When the Spirit of God fills us, we are meant to be a wildfire, not a candle in a corner. And so we have to ask ourselves, are we being salt and light? Are we bringing out the best in other people? Are we preserving what is good, standing for what is right? Are we creating that thirst? A life that is so on fire, so lit up for Christ, that others can't help but ask, how do I get that? Is that the life we're living? And if not, we've got some work to do. And so this morning, as we gather to pray, and as we approach God about this very thing, about being salt and light, that's what we ought to be praying for. We ought to be praying for that unquenchable fire of God to be in us. This fire that just can't help but escape us. To be salt, to preserve, and to bring out what is good. Because I'm a firm believer that everyone has some good in them. We just aren't very good at bringing it out. So how are we going to do that? It starts with prayer. And so that's what we're going to do this morning. I'm going to pray, and I invite you, while we're singing this last song, first off, I want to invite you to stand while we're singing it. But the second thing is, if you feel like you need that fire, like you just have not experienced that full-hearted fire, the flame of God, I want you to come up and just spend some time in prayer this morning. Just spend some time at the altar seeking out God. And just lay it out there and say, God, here I am. Here I am. Fill me up. Let's pray. Father, we are so thankful to have you in our lives. That when it seems like our fire is just a small flickering flame, Lord, you come to fill us again. To reignite the wildfire that you have put in our hearts. And so we pray this morning that you would reinvigorate us. That you would bring new life to our flames. That we would live a life that draws out what is good in others. And that we would create such a thirst for your Spirit simply because of who we are. Light a fire in us in Jesus' name. Amen.